Alright, so the Phonak Sphere Infinio is a powerhouse of a hearing aid that packs a lot of tricks up its sleeve. So what I want to do today is showcase what I think are my top tricks that I share with my patients to get the best out of these hearing aids. And hopefully you'll find some use with this information too. So I have to start out today's video with less of a trick, but more of a piece of advice for you. And that's that, in reality, none of this video matters unless your hearing aids are 100% personalised for you. If your audiologist doesn't perform real ear measurements, hasn't performed real ear measurements, or doesn't believe in real ear measurements, then in my opinion, it's time to find a new audiologist. REMs are the gold standard for programming hearing aids, and in all honesty, there is no point in spending all of your hard-earned cash on a hearing aid that hasn't been tailored to your anatomy with having real ear measurements. So you must start off your hearing aid journey by having your hearing aids programmed properly. Following on down that personalisation route, I would also highly recommend asking your audiologist if custom tips fitted to the end of your hearing aids are suitable for you. In reality, if they are suitable, and that's a big if, may I add, all hearing aids work way better with them on, instead of the generic rubber domes. According to this recent poll that I put out there on YouTube, only a third of hearing aid users have them fitted to their hearing aid. This subject is so important that I've dedicated an entire video to it. And I've got a lot of heat from the audiology community for this as well. I'll add it to the description in today's video. Let's kick this off then. So let's talk about one huge tip that I think you need to be aware of, which in my opinion is the main selling point of these hearing aids. Yes, it's Phonak's artificial intelligent spheric speech in loud noise setting. Now, you may be aware that whilst your hearing aids will automatically switch into this mode under Phonak's automatic setting, AutoSense, I've had some patients report that whilst it's excellent in helping with speech understanding and noise, sometimes it can appear to jump in and out of this mode. Now, to combat this with some of my patients, I've been adding a separate manual program for the spheric speech in loud noise mode, and then maximizing the AI noise reduction settings and directionality to make it the most effective version of itself that it could be. It still in reality works under the AutoSense settings. However, it also gives my patients the option to manually force the hearing aids over to this setting using the app or by pressing the button on the back of their hearing aids. I would chat with your audiologist if you'd like this enabled. It's a simple and easy adjustment to make. Now, the next tip allows you to control your Infinio Sphere hearing aids using the tap control feature. And unless your audiologist has run through this with you, you may not even know that this handy feature exists. Essentially, with a double tap of your ear, you can control various functions on your hearing aid, and the default setting with the Phonak Sphere Infinios is to be switched off. So to activate it, you need to open the app, head over to devices, and then open the tap control feature. Here you can see that you can choose which ear it works with and personalize its functions, from starting or ending phone calls, pausing or resuming streaming, plus activating your phone's voice assistant such as Google Assist or Siri. In the early days of this feature, my patients reported that it was way too sensitive, and even running their fingers through their hair would set Siri off, blurting nonsense into their ears. Since then, Phonak have added a sensitivity feature, meaning that you can change how much force is actually needed to activate that double tap. Now, my YouTube community, as I get onto tip number 4, I've got to ask, it's shameless, I know. If you're enjoying this video, then please hit the like button. And while you're at it, you may as well, somewhere down here, press subscribe as well. That way, any new videos that are related to hearing aids from me will appear on your YouTube home screen. Thank you as always for your support in growing today's channel. Growing this channel. So on to the next feature. I don't know why Phonak's graphic equaliser is so hidden. And if there's anybody from Phonak HQ watching, please make it more obvious where to find it. For those of you keen on adjusting the bass, the mids or the treble, head down to the Adjust Program section at the bottom of the screen. Select the drop down next to Hearing Program, and then press this logo here in the top right corner. Here you have access to a 3-point graphic equalizer, allowing you to make some basic adjustments to the frequency response of your hearing aid. Simply put, if you feel that they're lacking a little bit of depth and richness, you may want to give that bass a little bit of a boost. If you feel that they need a little bit more speech, you may want to increase the mids, or if you need more clarity, raise the highs. On top of that, there are several preset adjustments that you can use that serve the same purpose. In our clinic, we do a lot of work with musicians wearing hearing aids, and having access to this feature has been a bit of a game changer in terms of making music sound more natural and putting them in the driver's seat. My next trick also has to do with personalisation. So again, in the app, head over to the Adjust Programs menu, which gives you access to plenty of features to adjust based on your circumstances, such as volume, microphone directionality, and the dynamic range of these hearing aids. If you happen to like what you've done for the environment you're in, press save at the bottom of the screen and then name the adjustments that you've made, such as concerts, for example. And voila, now you won't have to make adjustments every time you're in that circumstance. You can simply jump onto your personalized program that will appear at the top of your app. I have to be honest now. In fact, I'm always honest, but this time I'll be really honest. I literally have no idea why Phonak pre-programmed the My Phonak app with 3 additional programs called Restaurant, Music and Television, as in my opinion, they're all useless. Sorry Phonak, but just get rid of them. And each time I set up a hearing aid for a patient, I head over to the settings and delete them to avoid the app being more complicated than it needs to be. If you want to do the same thing, then head over to Devices and then down to Hearing Aid Programs. Click on the relevant program and then press Delete. Now, whilst you have this menu open, it's also possible to rename any of the other programs that are on there as well. So if you've got the spheric speech and loud noise mode on there, you could change that to AI mode or your own restaurant mode. My next tip is for those of you out there that want a better experience when listening to music. In reality, hearing aids are designed to optimize speech. In fact, I imagine that's why 90% of you went to see your audiologist in the first place, to hear people speak more clearly. The only downside of this is, as a result, if they detect any sound that isn't speech, they treat it as noise, processing it accordingly, and it results in it sounding like a honky-tonk or very tinny. Now, of course, the hearing aid's ability to identify music is always improving, and with Phonak's AutoSense 6.0, they will automatically transition into your music program, which your audiologist will be able to tailor specifically for your needs. At the same time, I have to say that our clinic specialises in hearing aids for musicians, and there is a very specific way that I would tailor hearing aids for anybody out there with a keen interest in music. So much so that I have another video specifically dedicated on this subject, which I'll link in the description to today's video. But ultimately, it involves your audiologist creating a separate music program and disabling all of the bells and the whistles. This can be done in the Phonak Target hearing aid fitting software by heading over to the program menu and creating a brand new music program, and then fine-tuning it specifically for music using the information in the video that I outlined earlier. So if your audiologist needs any tips on hearing aids for musicians, you may want to share that video with them. Let's talk about a feature that I have been begging Phonak to include in their app for years, like every other manufacturer has had since the beginning of time. Thank goodness they've finally included a Find My Hearing Aids feature. Again, the default is for this feature to be turned off, but the great news is you can activate it yourself in the My Phonak app. To do so, head over to the Devices tab at the bottom of your screen and then scroll to Find My Hearing Aids. At the top, press the slider so that it turns green. The app will ask for your permission to use your phone's location services. You have to allow this, and it must be set to always allow. If you don't take that step, then it won't work. It's worth me sharing that I have been assured by Phonak that Sonova does not have access to your location data, so panic not. They will not be tracing your every movement. When it's working, it will help you to find your hearing aid in 2 different ways. Firstly, on a map if you're far away from them, and then secondly, you'll notice here these little hot and cold bars, which should get you within a few feet of your hearing aids. Now, Phonak won't admit which drives me mad. Phonak won't admit this issue that I've had with a few patients. In fact, no manufacturers do, and in reality, it's there with all of them. I have had some patients reporting that if they take a phone call in a particularly noisy situation, it can be hard for the person on the other end of the phone to be able to hear them. or they can sound like they're trapped in a well. So this next tip will allow you to minimize this by adjusting an iPhone feature called voice isolation. This should mean that the microphones on your hearing aids are more focused on picking up your voice and less on those around you. I've outlined the process to activate it in great detail in another video just here. Stay awesome now.